Hey guys, how's it going? Professor Shuckle here, and today I'm back with the draft analysis for Season 7 of the IBL, which stands for the International Battling League. This league is actually like what I would consider my home league. This is where I've made like a lot of friends, and I've been playing in this league since Season 1, and this is Season 7. And it's a very different league. It's not like a big league, but it's a league of friends, and I believe like the same 16 people have been playing since like season 2 of the league, which is pretty crazy. So it's like we're a pretty tight knit group, and there's a lot of banter and memes and stuff in the like server, which is pretty cool. This is also where I met my friend Sky. Like the Skyrite core was formed here. Also in this league, I go by the franchise Toronto Toxtricity. The super sick cool logo, which you see on the screen, was made by my friend Jer, and I'll link his channel below in the description as well, so go check him out. He also uploads, I believe he's uploading this league, and probably will have a draft analysis, so I'll link his channel for sure. Go check him out. So yeah, as I said, I've been in this league since season 1, and we actually were the champions 2 seasons in a row, season 2 and season 3. Season 1, I believe we got knocked out in semifinals. Then we won season 2. Season 3, we actually went undefeated, like in the regular season, and then clean swept through playoffs to have like a perfect season, an unbeaten run. Season 4 as well, we got knocked out first round of playoffs, I believe. Season 5, I had to drop out due to some like unfortunate circumstances, and then I rejoined the league season 6 when I took over for someone. And we were again knocked out round 1 of playoffs by Skyhorse, like my friend. So yeah, it's been fun, and this is like the perfect league for like playing Mons, which is competitive but still having fun. So it's really good. And yeah, also this season was a little different because we switched to points instead of the usual tiers. So now we had 115 points to draft a roster of 12 Mons. Oh yeah, here we also draft 12 Mons, which I really like because you get to use like more low tier Mons you may not get to use in other leagues because you like try harding and you want to win. So that's really cool, and like using low tier Mons and memes are appreciated in this league and encouraged. So that's pretty cool. We had a draft spot of 10 from 18 coaches. I initially wanted to get Dragapult because I've never used it, and I really want to use it after using it in Team Tours because Dragapult is broken. But getting picked 10th meant I was never going to get Dragapult, so I didn't really have a draft plan going into it. I just decided to follow my tried and tested strategy of drafting with points, which is just grab the most broken thing left on the draft board. At least for the first couple of rounds, just pick the most broken thing, and yeah, like move on from there. Like it's very easy to get. It's harder to find good low tier offense and bulk, and like if you have one key pieces, you should get it first. So yeah, with that, let's go ahead into our first pick, which was Cinderace. And you see it's for 19 points, and you might be wondering, oh, why is Blaze Cinderace 19 points? So in this league, Libero is allowed, so Libero is basically Cinderace's version of Protean. So where every move gets stabbed basically, which is pretty cool. So this was available round 1. We also allow Mega Lotties and Mega Blastoise with Shell Smash and Mega Alakazam, but I've already used all of them, so I didn't really want to pick them again. And I've used Blaze Cinderace before with like Libero Band, and I really enjoyed it. So I feel like with Libero, it's going to be even more broken, like Stab U-Turn, Fireball, Stab Gunk Shot for Fairies. Yeah, it has pretty good coverage. Unlike Greninja, though, it can hit on both sides. It's mostly a physical attacker, but it has fantastic speed right off the bat at 119, which is really good. And it's forcing like the 120s and 130s to run Jolly or Timid, which is awesome. Pretty good attacking stat, which is also nice. It gets set up in the form of bulk up, which is really cool. And the main thing of this is it gets court change as well. So if my opponent sets screens, we can steal those, and if this had hazards on our side, we can just flip them over, which is really cool. So yeah, it can act like a hazard remover, or at the very least just like make it easier for us to level the playing field with hazards, which is cool. So yeah, I believe it was like a really fun mon to use, so I grabbed it first. Next up, I decided to pick Zerora, which is for 17 points, which I think is like fairly priced, about 17 points. Again, Zerora is really good, and Gen 8 blessed it with some new moves in the form of Play Rough, Aura Sphere, and Blaze Kick, I believe. So whatever it lost with like HP coverage, it got in the form of like better coverage elsewhere. It also got Aura Sphere, I believe, now, so it can hit reliably on the special side before it had to rely on Focus Blast. I'm a huge believer in fast electrics. I believe they like really help with the offense early on, and especially Zeraora, which can set up on both sides with Bulk Up and Calm Mind, and has a fantastic speed tier, so you can actually run a lot of bulk on it half the time because you don't need a lot of speed to outspeed some things. It also has pretty good attacking stats, 112 attack and 102 special attack, both of which like can be boosted, which is really cool. Pretty decent HP stat as well, so with Bulk Up, it can actually be really hard for like physical ground type or ground type Pokemon to beat this. It also gets like Drain Punch and stuff, so it can heal up as well, which is really cool. And gets Volt Switch, so we are starting to get our pivots in. Like Cinderella has U-Turn, Zerora has Volt Switch, and like both of them are pretty strong offensively. So we have a good, fast, hyper offensive core going on here. So I decided to pick Skarmory, which is Steel Flying for 14 points. With my two previous picks, you would have noticed that I have a bit of a ground weakness with both Cinderace and Zerora weak to ground. So I decided to grab a flying type right off the bat. And Skarmory is one of the best Pokemon to check physical ground types because of how physically bulky it is with that massive 140 defense stat. It also has like a pretty good speed for a bulky mon at 70. As most bulky mons are at like 50-60 range, 70 is really like a good speed tier for it because they need to invest a lot of speed to outspeed zero speed Skarmory, and if they don't, Skarmory can always run like Taunt, which is really cool. It also has phasing in the form of Whirlwind, and it also gets Spikes and Stealth Rock, so we're starting to get our hazards in. It gets reliable recovery in Roost, so it can stay for, it can stay around and check physical attackers again and again. And what else? Oh, it also gets Defog if we need it to be a defogger. Sturdy is really cool, which means if we haven't taken any damage, we can always check like setup threats and we'll win them out, or we can always set at least one layer of hazard, which is really cool. I don't think I'll ever use Keen Eye, but Weak Armor is also decent in certain matchups with like Sword Stance, Drill Peck, and you get the agility boost basically, and you're outspeeding everything. Because its attack stat is not bad at 80. Oh, it also got Body Press now, which is really cool, which works off your defense stat, which gives this a way of hitting like Heatran and stuff on the Switch pretty hard, which is really nice. So yeah, Skarmory marks the beginning of our defensive core, which is cool. Next up, I decided to grab the fish, Draco Wish. With, this thing is just broken. Like, I believe everyone knows this thing comes in and just clicks one move over and over again, and if you do not have a resist, something is dying. This does not care about resist. You bring in your Ferrothorn, you bring in your Toxapex, this does not care. Draco Wish with Fish's Rend is just, too broken. It also has like decent bulk with like 90, 100, 80, so it can eat hits, and it has a decent defensive typing. Like it resists steel and water, which is cool. But yeah, mostly it's going to be running Strong Jaw and either Scarf or Band. And if they don't have a Water Absorb or a Storm Drain Pokemon, this thing is really, really tough to switch in. Fish's Rend will do like 40 to 50% to like things like Blastoise, Milotic, and stuff. It does have Sand Rush, where you can boost your speed in sand, but that's also an option. For sure, it does not get toxic, unfortunately, which is kind of annoying. But it does get moves like Super Fang and stuff as well. But honestly, if you're not clicking Fishious Rend, you're using Draco Wish wrong. So this is, yeah, like another powerful breaker and works really well with like Cinderace and Zerora, like bringing in Draco Wish with their pivoting. Oh, also there were like, there was a rain team and a sand team, or semi-rain, semi-sand, I don't know, after me, and I felt like both of them wanted Draco Wish. So, you know, I didn't really want to face Draco Wish. Like, I didn't want to draft a War or Mon just for this. I was like, you know what, I'll just grab Draco Wish and have some fun, click Fishious Rend, and repeat, and that's about it. Uh, yeah, this also marks the start of a like, or we have a fire, so we have like a fire water grass core starting, and we're also starting a dragon steel fairy core. So we're like 2/3 of the way done on both of them. Step. I wanted a dark type because every draft needs a dark type or you're gonna lose. And for some reason, I don't like a lot of dark types in Gen 8 anymore. Like, Alolan Muk used to be a staple of mine in Gen 7, but with the berry nerf, I don't really find myself grabbing it a lot anymore. And last season, Umbreon put in the work. Like, I had a Mega Zam Tapu Lele stall team with like Pex, Umbreon, Avalugg, Noivern, and stuff. And Umbreon and Pex are just impossible to break. And I feel like Umbreon and Skarmory together can also be really hard to break. Skarmory with the physical defense and having reliable recovery, as well as Heal Bell and Wish support from Umbreon, which can tank stuff on the Spadaf side. Like, look at these stats, 95, 110, 130. This thing is insanely bulky. Its speed stat is also really nice at 65, where mons like Clefable, Sylveon, Jellicent, and etc. stand at 60. So being a little faster means they have to invest like speed to outspeed me. And this does get taunt as well, so again, it can stop like passive mons as well. Synchronize is really cool because if you toxic me, you get toxic back, and if you don't have heal bell, Umbreon does, so that's cool. Foul play is also really cool because it doesn't care about like my attack stat, like my offensive stats. So if you try to set up on Umbreon, you can be in trouble with foul play. It does get Baton Pass as a pivoting option, which I used really well last season, where I click Wish and then Baton Pass. And because it's so slow, it gets a slow Baton Pass into whatever I want to Wish Pass into. And then they get a free Wish, basically, so you can heal up, like, you know, frailer threats this way. Yeah, a really solid mod, really solid glue mod. And it's very easy to slap on a team and make it, like, check whatever you want. Like, switching repeatedly, click Foul Play, Wish, Protect. Pretty standard set, pretty bulky, and like, since I like to run semi-stall a little, it does help me with that with Skarmory, which is cool. Yeah. And next up, I decided to grab my Mega. I wanted to wait on this a little, but I was really scared one of the teams didn't have a Fairy type, and they had a lot of points left, so I thought they might be going for Mega Guard. So I decided to grab this a little earlier than I would have liked, at 16 points, which I think is fair, because Gardevoir is not physically bulky at all, so like you have to play it really well for it to do well. Psychic Fairy is a pretty broken typing because the things that switch into Psychic are Dark types, and Fairy blows them back. And it's not like Steel types can come in on this easily either because it has Focus Blast as well as Mystical Fire now, which is really cool. So it can hit the Scizor and Ferrothorn. It also gets a bunch of support moves like Wisp, Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, Healing Wish. I believe it gets Healing Wish. It also gets Wish. I think it gets Knockoff too. So like, gets a bunch of support options for sure. It has a massive special attack stat, 165. So half the time you don't even need investment, and you're still going to do a lot of damage. Hyper Voice is boosted by Pixelate as well, making like Hyper Voice really strong. It does still have Moonblast for like soundproof mods, which is cool. Pretty good speed stat at 100. So like speed tying the base 100s, forcing the 110s to run timid to outspeed me. Faster than base 95, 90s, which is cool. It does get Psyshock and Psychic, so it can hit like, it's really hard to build a set against this, because if you don't build Spadef, you're going to take a lot from Hyper Voice. And so if you don't invest into physical bulk, then Psyshock will pick you off. which is cool. It doesn't have physical bulk, which is like kind of annoying because it doesn't take physical hits well at all. But its special defense is really good, so it's a really good check for like Latios, Latias. Can check like Mega Zam and stuff as well pretty well, which is nice. So yeah, I've been wanting to use this for a long time. This was on, I believe this was the top Mega I wanted to use, so I stuck with it even though there were like more broken Megas left. Always want to use Mega Gardevoir. The only time I've used it is Gen 6 or as Sand teams, and when I did I was the Fairy Gym leader for the APA Gym Challenge, and that's when I picked Mega Gardevoir, and it put in the work for me. So I'm hoping it can do that again. It also has really good abilities in base form in Synchronize and Trace. Trace tells me the opponent's ability and can be useful in situations like switching into Heatran on a predicted fire move, or like on a Water Absorb Mon, or like on a Volt Absorb Mon. So that's really cool. It's also now first in Mega, so even like I could trace Sandrush or like Swift Swim in theory, and not Mega Evolve and use that boost to like hit stuff, which is cool. So yeah, this is my Mega, and I like hope this puts in the works. Next up, I still needed a ground type and like another rocker, potentially, in case I needed Skarmory to like defog or whatever. So I decided to grab my trusted old friend Piloswine. Ice Ground, which is pretty cool. 8 points, which I think is like fair, like a good budget ground type. Pretty bulky with 180, 60. More on the physical side, but again, this is boosted with Eviolite, which is really cool. And it's not even passive because it has 100 attack with a really fantastic offensive typing. Like the only things that switch into Ice and Ground are the Rotom Wash and Rotom Heat forms. Yeah, so this can set up Stealth Rocks pretty easily. It also has Ice Shard priority for like the dragons that want to set up. Ice is again fantastic typing, has Icicle Crash and Icicle Spear. I don't think I'll ever use Oblivious. I think that's more used on like Focus Sash Mamoswine leads. But on this, I think Eviolite's usually better, so Thick Fat's really good. And then Thick Fat halves the damage of Fire type moves and Ice type. Super effective Ice. I don't think it does anything versus Ice. No. Any Ice type attack. So yeah, so it can tank Ice and Fire moves as well, which is cool. Another Electric immunity is really nice. So yeah, solid Mon. Can't complain much. Next up, I decided to grab my Grass. As I said, I had a bit of a ground weakness, and my only immunity was Skarmory. So I decided to grab my Grass, and I drafted another evolution in Leafeon, which was just 2 points, which I thought was a steal, honestly, because look at the stats. It's so bulky physically, has a pretty good attack stat, and has a pretty decent speed, and has knockoff, and like again, has Leaf Blade as well as Chlorophyll, so you could run Life Orb Sunny Day set and do a lot of damage. It gets Solar Blade as well, I believe. It gets Wish Protect as well, so it can help with that if for some reason I can't bring Umbreon to a match. Also gets Synthesis, so that's cool. It gets Weather Ball too now, which is really cool. It can hit like unsuspecting Ferrothorns or Scizors, which is cool. What else does it do? It also gets Baton Pass, because all evolutions do, so it can pivot as well, which is really nice. And yeah, it's just a bulky low tier grass to help with the ground weakness. Next up, I drafted Rita, which is for 4 points, a psychic type. Its stats don't look broken. What makes it broken is the Shadow Tag ability. And on a stall team, or a semi-stall team, as this, like I have some offense, and then I also have a stall core in Umbreon and Skarmory. And this helps with that because one, even if you prep for it, you're forced to run Shed Shell if you don't have a pivoting move, which is really cool. So like I'm wasting an item slot, and I do have a lot of knockoff like Zerora, Leafeon. Actually, those are my only knockoffs. So yeah, so far. But yeah, it can set up, it can trick, it can taunt, it has charm. So basically, it can PP stall an opposing Mon, like an annoying Mon for the team, and take it out. And most of the time, it can do like a 1v1 trade, but it's just got the Rita. And the fact that it can take out like a huge threat, like something like a Seismitoad or Milotic or something, like getting rid of Warbs or Mons like Gastrodon, Seismitoad for Draco Wish would be huge. And this really helps with that, which is like amazing. It does get Calm Mind and stuff, like Calm Mind, Charm, Rest. Yeah, like again, it's just there to take out defensive passive mons for sure. So yeah, it's a huge threat to prep for, and only 4 points for it seemed like really good value. So I decided to grab it just for some extra prep, because that's basically what I want for my low tiers, to just that the force prep, but they may not come every week, if that makes sense. Next up, we were still looking super weak to Dragapult, which is the most broken mon this generation, and like two ghost types in general. So I decided to grab Porygon for 1 point, which is a normal type with pretty good like bulk, 65, 70, 75, which is boosted by Eviolite. Does have foul play and analytic, so it can hit hard because it'll most likely be going last. And with the teleport buff this generation, it can also act as a pivot, flicking teleport and getting in like Draco Wish, Cinderella, Zerora, Mega Gardevoir really safely, which is cool. It gets reliable recovery and recover. Has 3 fantastic abilities. Trace, so I can trace and know other people's abilities. Can also be useful again, like Heatran, Flash Fire, Water Absorb, Natural Cure, or whatever. Download, which would give us an attack or special attack boost based on whatever opposing mon's stat is weaker. And Analytic, which gives a 1.3 power boost if we go last. This can also set Trick Room, which is really good. Like Trick Room Teleport was the thing we used on the Lil Cup team to take on the Nabdex ladder. So yeah, definitely has some tools, like some tricks up its sleeve. Yeah, this is our Dragapult check, or like our Blacephalon check or whatever. Yeah, basically force prep and can teleport and get in stuff, and then be a sack if needed later. So yeah, 1 point mon, can't expect much, but like if it wins me the matchup versus Dragapult, then it's the GOAT. Next up, Cloister for 9 points. I wanted to get some more hazards, and Cloister has T-Spikes. What I like about Cloister is it forces prep, because I could easily be Shell Smash, but defensive Cloister is also really good. Like look at the defense stat, 180, which is amazing. Has no special bulk whatsoever, but that physical bulk's really cool. Of course, Kill Link and Shell Smash is really good with like Icicle Spear, Rock Blast, Pin Missile. Like it's gonna do damage, but it also gets Rapid Spin, Toxic Spikes. Yeah, and Ice Shard 2 priority. So like it can do a lot of things. Like you have to prepare for Shell Smash, but also just be a hazard stack lead. Icicle Spear is really nice because like with Skill Link you're hitting 5 hits every turn, so you break Sash and like Sturdy and stuff, which is really cool. Yeah, it's just another threat and gives me like another bulky water with Draco Wish. Because Draco Wish as a bulky water doesn't work because you don't want to switch it in. So Cloister can come to matchups where Draco Wish can't, which is cool. And lastly, for 1 point, I drafted Burfree, which is like a bug flying mon with Quiver Dance and Tinted Lens, and Sleep Powder as well with like Compound Eyes. So this can be annoying and is again another threat to prepare for. Like if you don't prep for it, you could easily get swept because Tinted Lens doesn't care about resist because the damage is doubled. So yeah, like that's crazy. For 1 point, again, it's like a threat to prep for, and now with the addition of heavy duty boots, it's not even like I have to keep rocks off for it. Like I can just run heavy duty boots and Quiver Dance up and sweep. Quiver Dance gives like the boost to special attack and speed, and then with Tinted Lens, it could get crazy really fast. It does have good like coverage moves and like Bug Buzz, and I think it gets Hurricane. So yeah, Burfree, cool mon. I really want to get Purloin for 1 point, but the mods wouldn't reduce its value, so I ended up drafting Burfree, and again, I don't see it coming to a lot of games, but if it can come 1 or 2 games and get a sweep, that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, Just to summary, we have Cinderella, Zerora, Skarmory, Draco Wish, Umbreon, Mega Gardevoir, Piloswine, Leafeon, Rita, Porygon, Cloister, and Burfree. I believe we covered like 14 typings. The only things we don't have are like Ghost, Poison, Fighting, and one more typing. I can't remember. But not having a Poison type is kind of weird for for like a Darkrai team. But like even if they said Toxic Spikes versus me, I have Corchin, Cinderace, so I can obviously turn them back. And I have like decent removal in Skarmory and Cloister. So and like Burfree can defog as well. Like I don't think Toxic Spikes are huge for this team. Maybe they are. If they are, I can always switch Burfree out for like a 1-point poison. Yeah, I think the team's really solid. We have some really offensive hard hitters in Cinderace, Zeraora, Draco Wish, and Mega Gardevoir. But then we also have a really strong bulky core, which is hard to break in Skarmory, Umbreon, Piloswine, Rita, Porygon. And then we just have like some setup sweepers in Cloister and Burfree, which is cool. So yeah, overall, I think it's a fun team, and hopefully we can do well. The goal will be probably to click Fish's Run as much as we can. But yeah, I'll be uploading this season, so I believe week 1 starts like this week until next week. So whenever who's my opponent for week 1? Oh, I believe we're playing the New York Piplups, who beat us the last week of the last season, so we got to take our revenge week 1. Yeah, that's all for me. Bye, and have a nice day.